Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back with another episode of Kerbal Space Program. So last episode we were able to unlock the surface um, samples. So the very first thing we need to do is just do this. Just now that we have surface samples unlocked, which was something that hasn't ever been locked because of this new reputation and upgrade system, we can finally let go, touch the ground, and take a surface sample right there. And then store experiments, and that was from the landing pad. The next surface sample we want to get is from, let's see, let's walk this way. Maybe we'll even, let's see, is there a shift button? Yes, there is. Run this way. Fortunately, Kerbals are surface sample from the launch pad. That's not what we want. We want to run this way until it says carbon planes. Launch pad, launch pad, launch pad, launch pad, launch pad. This is actually working rather well. We'll soon be hitting the runway, which is another place we want to get a surface sample from. All this area is still considered the launch pad. Interesting. Launch pad, launch pad, launch pad, really? Launch pad? Let's stop for a second. Take surface sample from the launch pad. Interesting. Is this not the runway? No, I guess that's just a road. Maybe that in the far distance is the runway. So this is a real good example of this Kerbal Space Program Center. It's a real good example of why running is a terrible thought. I mean, I'm not even gonna bother. I'm not gonna bother to try and run. If that right there wasn't the runway, I don't know what is. So we're just gonna recover the vehicle as in ourselves. Now, that gets us 9 science right there. And him. And then we'll click this and recover that. That gets us another 9 science. So, 600 science. What? No, that wasn't right. Whatever that was wrong. So, mobile processing unit, mobility enhancer, not particularly what I'm looking for. Batteries and some solar cells. I think I already have some solar cells. Let's see. Yeah, because satellite 1 over there is this. This is what I want. Is some rocket control thing, and I'm still 8 science short, which is fine, because we can come over here with the same strategy and just see. There we go. Launch. Same strategy, we'll get a surface sample from the runway, which is its own separate thing. And then we will get a surface sample from the planes, which shouldn't be too far of a run. we right click, store that experiment, we get up. And now all we need to do is just run this way. We're looking for the planes, not Kerbal Space Center. So I imagine what it's going to do is tell us the runway for a while, and then it's going to start telling us Kerbal Space Center. And then after a while more, it will start telling us the planes. So there are, for each biome, there is another surface sample. Let's see. I could get another bit of science doing the experiment again for Kerbal Space Center. So I'll keep that in mind as an option. Probably means I could do some more surface samples on other things. You can do experiments more than once, but it's diminished returns to the point where it eventually gets below zero. But I've played this in previous versions where the diminished returns seems to be kind of logarithmic, so it never actually gets to zero. So you're actually still, if you're willing to sit there and transmit and select, gather information and transmit, gather information and transmit, you can gather quite a lot of information. Was particularly helpful. I don't know if it still works that way in this version, but when you were in orbit, gathering information and sending it to grind out science was about the best way. It's still saying Kerbal Space Center. Oh. So if we were on the moon walking around, this would be ridiculous. But this would be probably the most efficient way to get science on the moon, is if you had just your Kerbals get out and you could pre-program them in some way to walk to specific places. And I bet there's a mod out there that does that, where you can say just walk to this point and then fast forward time, because obviously in the game you don't want to sit here and watch this like I'm doing now. I'm gonna have to call it pretty soon here. If we don't, if it's that distant patch of green is when it starts admitting that we are no longer in Kerbal Space Center, that is going to be a far walk. I mean, it's getting closer, but wow. It's a lot faster when you're in a plane. It's a lot faster when you're in a dune buggy. But even in a plane, even in a dune buggy, it still is a long journey. Come on. I think we may have to call it. How much longer? But so what I say about mods is that if there's a mod that improves the game so significantly, shouldn't that just be an upgrade, a patch to the game? If there was a mod, and I bet there is, that made it so you could just click a point and say walk here, that is definitely an improvement. And that's really why I love the warp here feature so much, that is now here in the game. That was not in the game before. Before you had to sit there and watch it as it was as you were getting flying. So you could go to the fastest speed you wanted to, or you were allowed to, but still not a situation where it would be helpful enough. Man, that still seems really far off. There we go, Kerbin Shores. I was about to give up. I really was. So there's some science we got. And over here is this for some more science. That's 600 funds returned. So your runway starts back here. They need to shift it a little bit further. Okay. So all that work was just to get enough science to be able to afford this with the rocket controlled thrusters. Alright. So today's mission, should we choose to accept it, and really we have no choice but to accept it, is to finish this. They want us to get 2 different vessels within visual range of each other and kill the relative velocity to achieve this goal. Now, the best way I can see doing this is to have something in orbit and then have them separate to become 2 different vessels and all of that, and then use the RCS to separate them. On top of that, we're going to test the stack separator landed. This is the TR2C. We're going to have the flea booster at the launch site. To perform this activity part of the sequence, it has to be activated in a sequence. So we'll try that. The stack separator, then the flea, then we want the Rocco Max brand decoupler in flight, and then the Poodle fuel engine in flight, and then we need to put a polar orbit, a satellite in polar orbit. So this is what we're going to try and do. We're going to try to have a satellite, put it in polar orbit at a apoapsis, and wow, that is a really high 4 million meters. That's going to be a difficult one. We accidentally took this contract and didn't mean to. So let's see. Let's try to get these other contracts done first, and then we'll come back. So we're looking for the flea here is the first thing that needs to go off right after the stack separator. TR2C stack separator is this tiny little thing. Okay. And then let's see. The Poodle engine. And the Rocco Max brand decoupler. that should be all the quests we can do. Except for we want the poodle to be at least 1,000 meters by the time we activate it. So where's the radial decouplers? At the center of weight, and then I want this, and then I want do I need really that many? No. Just do 3. Alright, so that should satisfy, or at least hopefully satisfy, all of this. Now, what we don't want is this part. We want to stick a satellite up there. And if there's a satellite up there, we want it to be something along the lines of this. But we need a stack separator and an RCS unit. Stabilizer unit. Come on. What are we looking for here? A structural fuselage. Let's double make sure. Nothing wants to connect. Why does nothing want to connect? Have I driven? Let's see. I think I drug the thing somewhere. Let's see. Save and continue. Overwrite. So the problem there is you can only have one default flight system. And it just overrid everything else. Buggy. Oh well, we start over again. We have this little decoupler. We have this secondary satellite thing. On the secondary satellite thing, we have what I can only hope will be enough to separate those two. And do we want anything more? We will send some photoelectric here, and then some science. We will send. I mean, do we want just an entire package here? Why not? One of those. Actually, no, I don't. I don't want an entire package. I will deal with those things later. $900, $600, $300. I'll put one antenna and one thermometer, and we'll take everything else off. So that's what we're sending up as the two ships that we're going to try and put in parallel orbit. It's a very difficult and this is the small inline reaction wheel. Actually, that's not what I wanted there. I wanted a stack separating. Rocco Max brand, nope, that's the big one. That's the small one. Alright. The next thing we wanted was the giant poodle to get it up there. So we'll stick that there, and we of course need to get rid of this. Use the Rocco Max there. So this is a tiny little satellite getting shot up with the poodle. Thing. And then the one we have on the flea, and then the brand decoupler when we are landed, and arguably we're gonna overshoot this by putting way too many rockets on. So I'm gonna stick with the thumpers. Way too tall. Alright. This one needs to be tested when we're landed on the ground. This one needs to be tested when we're landed on the ground. Then this part can fire. Then this part, then this part. We have RCS here. We are shooting for like 4 million meters away in a polar orbit. So let's see. Will this work? We can do it on RCS and all of that, but we really don't have any of that. So that tests the stack separator. Seems to work fine. That's one success. That's that success. And we'll go ahead and start doing this. Now the only one that could very possibly give us trouble is the, let's see, Rockomax brand separator at a specific height. Oops. Test the Poodle at a specific height. When we get at that height, we want to activate the Poodle, even though there's no stack separator. Got the Poodle now working. Let's see. Sadly, the only way to get this thing off is we gotta burn it off. I didn't put a separator here. Oops. And that means the stack separator here should have been activated. If we just put a Rockomax stack separator here, it would have been activated. We're burning at a pretty high at full speed. We're pretty high. Let's see, can we make it anywhere? That's the question. What is this? Untitled spacecraft debris is going way higher than we are because of that mistake. We're not getting good thrust here, obviously. So let's go back and revert the flight to the assembly. We would have had that. Everything was right on this. At least most of the things are right here. Maybe we can't actually get into the into the 4 million meter part of it. Come on. There we go. And connect. There are pieces that will connect these different size things. I don't know if I have them. I don't particularly even care if I have them, because they cost money and then they don't. Alright. So this, then not this, these, and then the Rockomax, and then the activate that, and I'll get rid of those later. Alright, this should work. At least 4 out of 5 things should work here. We may end up with a couple of satellite things and debris. Alright, try this again. One tiny mistake. So activate that. it worked. We activate that and then activate this. Now we are looking for the Rockomance Brian stack separator. As soon as we have that available, we want this to be ejected. So as soon as we get to the right height, we eject this, and then we will probably eject this too. Let's see. To the right height. We go. Come on. Almost there. We're going really, really fast. We activate this. And we activate this. And we just start working our way. Now, did we not activate this poodle at the right time? It doesn't seem like we did. Alright, well, now is the real question. We are at high enough to start getting into orbit. It is now time to start going towards the right and trying to get into an orbit. Polar orbit actually would require us going north. So we are going for a polar orbit. I imagine this one right here. Looks like the game is going to be nice to me and allow me to do this. Sadly, no surface samples can be taken in space because it has no surface. If we can get this in the orbit, this will be pretty amazing. How much fuel do we have? Not a terrible amount of fuel. We are trying to increase our horizontal thrust so this orbit actually matches. It is pretty much exactly 90 degrees of what a usual orbit would be for us. I would much rather if this game wasn't three-dimensional, but that'd be very unrealistic. I will say that. I'm gonna speed up. I think that's the right thing to do. Otherwise I may not get off the planet with the poodle engine. I might not have enough fuel. I might not have enough fuel to get into a polar orbit. But we should have enough fuel to at least get into an orbit. turning yourself 90 degrees. Difficult task. It is not an easy task. And while I did it wrong. Let's see. And I can't click on this. So I've messed up. Let's see, how can we fix this? I'm trying to figure out what to do here. This would rotate us more that way. This would rotate us more that way. I can't even add maneuvers. I haven't even upgraded it yet. So I don't even know what the right move would be. Like, I have no clue. I have no clue what the right move is. If I shoot straight up, will I hit anything? Maybe. Maybe I should aim for this blue one. There's this blue one, we rarely ever use it. Let's see if that will get us where we need to be. It is a very demanding contract, but needs those Kerbal space player space program super experts on it. Alright. This is what we're gonna do. And let's see, is that going to rotate this in such a fashion that we might be in line? Putting me in this strange thing. I suppose that is rotating, but it's also crashing me into the planet. I mean, it's getting me there. With the right maneuvers and more fuel, maybe that would have worked. Of course, now I'm in this weird orbit that's going to crash into the planet. Well, that's the last I can do for that part. The last bit we're hoping to do was to, let's see, polar orbit with all that stuff. I'm not gonna get that done, so we'll close that. The poodle, we messed up. We got 3 of them. Come on, stay there. Rendezvous 2 vessels in sight of an orbit of Kerbal. Right. Stack, decouple. We're gonna control from here, and then we're going to decouple. And then I need some, let's see, RCS stuff. Come on, RCS, enable. It doesn't have any RCS in it. So there's no way to control it. Perhaps I could at some point convince put two things together and then decouple them in orbit, but have them be squished together so they don't go flying apart, and then release them. But yeah, that's not gonna work. I'm gonna need something with some RCS in there, and that didn't have any RCS monopropellant in it. So, two missions that it actually does look like we could have gotten in there. Maybe I looked at the wrong direction. Instead of going north and south, this thing no, was probably right. I probably needed to spin it a lot more. So let's finish out this quest and just see. I don't think we're gonna accomplish anything more. We'll just go ahead and let this thing crash into the space. Time warp it. So these are practically on the same speed as far as these two satellite things, but they're not within visual range of each other. I wasted some money here putting solar cells and a thermostat and all that. Might as well try. Can't even read that. Log temperature. Nope. Not even anything in here worth collecting. So this was a waste of money. Little piece of debris is gonna fall to the surface and be destroyed. We can disable it, but we couldn't do anything else. Can't do anything with the antenna except for send it out. That'll save me. I'll stab the ground and pole vault. No total waste of a trip. It definitely goes to show we could probably get to the moon right now. I mean, that orbit could have been very, very um, wide enough to get to the moon. But it would all be done by hand. I need to get my space station upgraded, which would mean I need to get more funds, which is the thing we're gonna have to do. We'll try that rendezvous quest, because that is like the contract that is being forced upon us. That is the one that says, that's saying, yeah, of everything, you have to do this to progress. So they really want us to do it. Well, they're forcing us to it. But, yep. And so we go to the Space Center. We accept that all of those things were destroyed, and that's fine. So this is what we need to upgrade. And we don't have the funds. We need, what, how much does that say? 150,000. So if we upgrade it too, we could get conics on the map, whatever those are. Conics. So untitled spacecraft debris. Oh, we still have some stuff to crash, I suppose. Let's watch this crash down. There's nothing in here really except for potentially some money. But, yep. No surprise there. All of it was destroyed. At least we're keeping space nice and tidy. We don't have any ton of space junk showing up. Let's see. Unlimited active Kerbals, we don't need that upgraded. Max of 5 strategies with 100% commitment. Okay, maybe that. More parts, definitely are gonna need that. This has been fully upgraded, required for flight planning. So really the next thing to upgrade is this. This upgrading would be custom action groups would be unlocked. Yeah. Unlimited weight, unlimited size. I haven't run into a size limitation really, so I must have not been building very big ships, which of course you're not building big ships. Why would you be building big ships? That would be the opposite of efficient and useful. Very VIP. Temperature scan on the moon. Well, I'd love to do that. Position satellite around Kerbal. Nope. Temperature scans on Kerbal. I thought that would have been easy, but it turned that is actually a very difficult contract that we still haven't been able to finish. Ferry 2 tourists? No. 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 Rescue somebody? No. No. These people are just gonna be... So swivel engine landed on Kerbal. We'll do that. Here we go. Here's our favorite. Science data from around Kerbal. No. Position satellite. No. Temperature scans. No. 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 Radial decoupler at the launch site. Alright. So, first quest. We go back to our satellite 1. Our best quest so far. Our best achievement so far is satellite 1 here. all it does is get that same contract. Let's see, does it have electrical charge? Yeah, it's fine. So I just need it to find this and transmit it. That's all we have to do, and we will get it done. So it takes a while. We have to be in the sun to get the solar panel. Warning out of battery, warning out of battery, all that. Here we go. Send data from outer space around Kerbal. Warning, low electrical charge. Keep sending. Speed up a little bit. 50%, 60%. Done. And with that done, the quest is done. The quest was already done. So we go back to the Space Center. Have to love that. We have 50,000 right now. Let's see, test the twin bore liquid fuel engine landed on Kerbal. Do we have the twin bore? Let's see. Thumper, thud. I don't have the twin bore, so I can't accept that quest. It's important to make sure, double check your setup. So we can't do that one. And then rescue somebody. Nope, gotta make sure I don't click that green thing. Man, if you took 5 of these really hard contracts, you would be in real trouble. Yes, you can cancel them. Yes, that might, but that would then that would cost you money, and at the very beginning of the game, if it cost you all this money, then TRV stack decoupler landed. We'll do that. So yeah, next episode is just gonna be working on more gold. I want to get this upgraded, and then we've still got basically this flight. We'll try this flight that we did this episode again next episode, and sadly that is the problem with Kerbal Space Program, is that how many actual flights did we accomplish things, and how many flights did we just revert or get a few contracts. I guess the contracts do help the game a little bit, because when you're just playing for science or you're just playing in career mode, you could certainly do the same as we did this episode and get nothing for it. I would have gotten 0 science in the science, playing just science. We didn't get any reputation for this, and we spent money, so there is that kind of balance to it, but we really wouldn't have accomplished anything in sandbox mode. But then in sandbox mode you have to make your own rules anyways, because you're given unlimited funds and unlimited everything else. I will definitely show off sandbox mode as our final episode for the series, and then what I think I'm going to do is wait till there's another major update on Kerbal Space Program and then come back to it. Anyways, that's the end of this episode. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. All that helps out. If you want to support me, you can do that by clicking on my name, Rydo. On the right is a blue button that says support this channel. And if you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media site, those links are down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.